Morning, everyone. Today I am going to start a topic that is news writing. News writing is a skill that every journalist is required to develop and have experience. There are certain techniques or parameters upon which news writing is based, and every news organization follows these basic techniques to write a news. So, as you can see on your screen, there is a point of structure of a news story. So, before writing a news story, there is a basic structure which one journalist have to know. That is, first one is your headlines, second is byline, data line, date line, lead, body, and conclusion. So there is some example as I display in this presentation. That is headline. I circle the headline, that is potato brings uh, bonanza for Manipur farmers. So this is we call in journalism language is headline. Then byline is where we mention the reporter name. As you can see, there is a reporter name, Shobhapati. So second is your dateline. Dateline is that line which mention the date date of your news story. Then there is a lead part, and lead part then is second paragraph is your body part. After this, you can say that you can see in second headline is action plan to generate jobs as statements generated by your CM. Then there is a credit line. Credit line is where we used to write by a staff reporter, correspondence reporter. We are not mentioning the name of the reporter, but we mention the position of that particular reporter. Then again there is a dateline, lead story, then is body part. So now I'm going to explain how to write a headline. As you all must be familiar with the term headline. You know what is headline. Headline is a main part of the news which mention about your that particular story in two lines or two to three words. So it that part of news story that first catches the eye of the reader. As you can see in that example, it is a little of the news story and its most visible element. It is always written in a font few size bigger than the rest of the news story. The headline identify the reader that what is story is about. So then is your byline or credit line. This is the same and another thing. Byline and date credit line. Credit line means a credit to a particular person who write a news. You must have seen that the below headlines on the left hand side, it always written in a left hand side, right? And we used to call it byline credit line because it identifies which is the source of the story, who have the source of the story, who write this story, who have matlab means who is that particular person who know about that particular story. Then is your date line. Below the credit line or byline, just before the actual news story begins, you would have seen the date of the story along with the name of a place. This is date line. The date mentioned is the date on which the event has taken place and on which the reporter has filed the story, and the place mentioned in the that particular from where the story is taken, right? Then is lead or intro, just where the dateline ends, starts, and main part of the report. The first paragraph of the news story is called the lead. It is usually written in a bold or a font larger than used in the rest part of the story. However, it varies to the publication houses. Every publication house, every print media or electronic media have their own style of writing or own style of making a font size. So it depends on particular organization. Then is your body part. It gives the elaborate details of the event, including all 5W1H and the related explanation of the events. The body is the part where the actual story is narrated. The body describes what the story is all about. Right, then after this we have some more point of the body part. We have an intro part, conclusion part. So I'm going to tell you about that. News is always written in the inverted pyramid style. Inverted pyramid style, where we have a lead point first, then we have a body part, then we have a conclusion part, because a reader always want to curiosity about what is news about. So in the intro part we give a brief information about what is the story about, what is the incident about, and in the body part we explain that particular points, and in conclusion we used to write about what is going to be happen, or what is a further action taken by the particular government or police about that incident. So how to write the copy of your story is like it's the structure of the news story is, let us deal with the actual news of writing. Journalist terms a news story as a copywriting of any news. So we have a principle of news writing. Headline, how to write a headline. The headline has to be written keeping in the mind that it not only introduce and summarize the news story, but also serves the purpose of the attracting the reader attention. So for this, reporter should know about the strong vocabulary. He should know about the how to use a verb. He should know about the articles. He should know about the basic grammar before writing anything. Never use the feel of the past. Use present tense or future tense. Use the active voice before writing. And it depends on the what is news about. If we are writing about the past news, so we use a past tense. So it's all depend on the what is news about. Then is byline and credit line. Different newspaper follow different rules for the writing byline and credit line. It's depend on the style of any organization. Every newspaper have their own style of writing credit line and byline. Date line, as I said earlier, it's mentioned the date and the place from where the news has published, and and from which date the particular incident is about. Then there is a lead story. As I said earlier, there is a lead story and body part. Before writing a lead, we should usually, the lead used should possibly be containing all element. There is 5W and 1H. 5W means what, when, who, where, and how. So this 5W 1H, these things have to be remembered by the journalist before writing any news, because these things are most important part of any news story. So body is, as stated earlier, the body is the middle part of the story, and it deals with the details of any event. So after having summarized the story of the lead, still many relevant points are left to be elaborated. Uh, these guidelines are: always use very simple language and short sentences, avoid use of complicated words, figure of speech, adjectives, glitches, etc. Avoid to use a jargons, and write in active voice whenever possible. It makes sentences shorter and direct. And spell numeral up to 9, and beyond that write in numerals. Identifications, and the follow of the name, address, job description, Mr. and Mrs. You are not going to be used this type of things. While reproducing a speech directly, place it within a double quotes, unlike in the headline where it be placed in a single quote. Sometimes you can write full sentence in the direct space, or also write in such just significant words or the phrases in the direct space. Present tense is often used in order to emphasize the timelines. For example, refusing to lie down, or broke out in a Jagalpur. etc. etc. In stories where the actual time of the event is not known or it not important, the present perfect form of the verb is used. um, and always add a name or from like the statement has from which part of country is incident about, you can mention this also. For news stories that speak about the events that will take place in the future are expressed by the use of the verb, for example, will come, will speak, will etc. etc. So this is all about how to write any news story for any newspaper or news agencies. In short, I'm going to recall the things about the news story. News story is always written in a inverted pyramid style, and it always written in the form of formal writing, right? You have to put a intro part and then body, then conclusion part. So these things you have to be remember as a journalist. So thank you so much for listening me.